Following his adrenaline-pumping win against Dustin Poirier, mixed martial arts fighter Charles Oliveira seems more ready than ever to take on more titles. Apparently, he's open to fights with fellow UFC champions Alexander Volkanovski, Kamaru Usman, and more. Stay with us as we break the whole interview down for you, plus other UFC news. First, what has Charles Oliveira said about future fights following his victory against Poirier? Implying that he could be the next UFC champion going after that double gold, Charles Oliveira has been given the green signal to fighting some big names in UFC. So what has he said exactly, and what does the timeline look like for Charles Oliveira when it comes to future fights? Oliveira's coach Diego Lima recently said on Portuguese podcast Trocacao, Franca, that the fighter might return to the 145-pound category to crush Alexander Volkanovski or to the heavyweight division face Kamaru Usman. Oliveira agrees. He too thinks it's totally doable for him to bet everything on newer titles moving up in ranks. He said, "I really thought I couldn't drop to 145 anymore, but this last weight cut, I was really close to 155 before the fight with this work we've been doing, with lots of water in the body, and we believe we could easily make 145. Considering what he has said, it seems like the recent win was a real confidence booster for Oliveira. But what happened at the recent fight? Let's have a look. Now let's go over Oliveira versus Poirier highlights. When Dustin Poirier gave his back-to-back victories against Conor McGregor, everyone thought they were going to be looking at the new lightweight champion. But Charles Oliveira didn't quite agree. At UFC 269, he finished Poirier via submission during the third round and has since been the undefeated lightweight champion. Let's have a look at all the highlights from the face-off. During the contest, the first round was rougher for Oliveira. Poirier managed to rock him a couple times, even dropping him once with a left hook, but Oliveira persisted and got back on his feet towards the end of the round with an even bigger left hook than Poirier's. Into the second round, Oliveira has already managed to knock Poirier down. He remained above his opponent throughout the round, landing some wicked elbows. Then the third round came. Oliveira had become pretty confident by now, and without wasting any time, Oliveira swooped into a clinch against the cage and took Poirier's back. His back game being one of his strongest suits, Oliveira managed to find a good show. Poirier tried all he could do to fight back from the uncomfortable stance, but to no avail. Oliveira said of that final moment, "I don't let opportunities get away." The win marked Oliveira's 10th in a row, which, by the way, is the second longest streak in UFC history, just beside Kamaru Usman's 15-win streak. In his defeat, Poirier seemed to have accepted the events of the night. He said that he had tried to land some good hits, but Oliveira, being the champion that he is, made sure he had his way in the fight. What did Gaethje say about Oliveira, and how did he respond following the win? UFC fighters Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira have been going back and forth about one thing or another for the longest time. Following Oliveira's win against Poirier, Oliveira found the opportunity to address Gaethje's comments as well. Gaethje questioned whether Oliveira had a heart or not, but after that tremendous win, Oliveira couldn't help but laugh his comments off. He said, "Look at what they've been saying about me," Oliveira said. "They're saying I can't take hits. Look at what I've been doing. They say I quit. Look at what I've been doing. I'm just going to keep doing what I do." Apart from Gaethje, Oliveira also had things to say about Khabib Nurmagomedov. He pointed out how the Russian fighter had been supporting Poirier. Despite that, Nurmagomedov tweeted his congratulations for Oliveira, so we guess there's no beef to worry about here. What are some of the biggest UFC predictions for the new year? 2021 was one blast of a year for mixed martial arts, especially after a whole year of cancellations due to the COVID pandemic. But there's a lot to look forward to this year too, and the experts have made some predictions. Let's have a look at some of the most interesting ones. Amanda Nunes will retire this year. Amanda Nunes is one of the most successful female MMA fighters in the UFC, which makes this prediction kind of a wild one. However, there's a reason for it. Nunes was defeated by Juliana Pena at UFC 269, which was truly a blow because it cost her her featherweight title. This year, Nunes may not only try to regain her belt, but also retire once she's able to. Having had a hugely successful career, Nunes decided to enter motherhood last year. She also turns 34 this year, and having previously been very open about considering retirement back in 2020, that seems even more likely this year. But don't expect Nunes to leave without a bang. In the contest she might have this year, apparently she'll be coming back for her former title and more this year. Leon Edwards might be getting a title shot. Unbeaten in 10 matches over 6 years, there's been a prediction that Leon Edwards might finally get his first title. This might not exactly be his next fight, as he'll probably have to defeat one more top contender, say Jorge Masvidal or Gilbert Burns, before he finally gets a shot at a belt. But if he manages to win everything before it, Edwards would be able to go face-to-face against the champion Kamaru Usman himself. Like his fans, Edwards also believes that he's too good of a fighter to not be offered a title shot to date. It's thought that a lack of definitive performance on Edwards' part has worked against him when it comes to being offered matches. He hasn't exactly been the most outgoing, like some of his peers who have won multiple title shots, if we look at it from a publicity standpoint. Will Tom Aspinall be UFC's newest heavyweight star? There wasn't a better British heavyweight fighter than Tom Aspinall the whole of 2021. Showing true dominance, the 28-year-old managed to deliver some amazing amazing performances throughout the year. He submitted veteran Andrei Arlovski and knocked out Sergey Spivak just 7 months later, proving that he has that all-around game required to make it in the heavyweight category. The victories were so fantastic that UFC legend Daniel Cormier ended up labeling Aspinall the real deal and someone the world will take notice of in the future. While Aspinall has been open about taking it slow in UFC, if he takes up fights this year and continues his vigorous performances from last year, he would soon join the elites of the league. Max Holloway will be moving up to lightweight. Even though he lost twice to Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway's legacy as a featherweight champion is pretty much cemented at this point. Everyone knows he's good at the game, just how good is the question. Maybe Holloway needs to move on. Being 30, Holloway has an entire range of better, more lucrative opportunities, especially in the lightweight class. The last time he tried entering the weight class, he struggled against Poirier over the 5 rounds the two faced each other. But 2022 will be a new year for Holloway, and one in which he could make the necessary amendments in order to successfully penetrate the lightweight division. The fights that the 30-year-old could be involved in are certainly ones to make UFC fans foam at the mouth. Imagine Holloway versus McGregor, Michael Chandler, or Justin Gaethje, and the list goes on. Plus, Holloway might be getting a lot of matches as a lightweight too. He's been pretty successful throughout his UFC tenure, and this puts the odds in his favor. He will definitely be making headlines should he become a lightweight this year. It's possible he'd even be getting title shots from the very beginning, which makes all of this all the more exciting. Will Jon Jones become the new heavyweight champion? Jon Jones hasn't frequented the octagon in about 2 years. His heavyweight debut is also on the waiting list indefinitely. The 34-year-old declared 2 years ago that he was quitting the light heavyweight division and would enter the heavyweight division. This is yet to happen. However, Jones said that he could make his debut in April or July this year, and given his position and ranking when he was actively fighting, it's possible that he'd get a title shot immediately. It's possible that this could happen as early as the next UFC event when Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane also come face-to-face. Whatever happens, Jones's debut would be one of the most interesting events to take place in UFC this year. That is, if it does take place this year. Whom he'd be fighting against is another major question, but the answer would only be revealed when it gets revealed, so no predicting that. And that's it for today's video. What are your personal predictions for UFC this year? Let us know in the comments below. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and also subscribe to our channel where we post similar videos quite frequently. And we'll see you in the next video.